Buenos días a todas y a todos. Si el coronavirus nos lo permite, vamos a empezar el congreso, el primer Policy Forum sobre diseño y políticas públicas. Tenemos el honor de contar con nosotros con el alcalde de Valencia, el señor Joan Ribó, que está siendo y ha sido un firme defensor no solo de la candidatura de Valencia Capital Mundial del Diseño, que es una de las organizaciones que coproduce, coprotagoniza este evento, sino que además ha establecido un sólido discurso alrededor
provided for a solid discourse concerning the importance of design in the field of public policies and particularly in the field of city policies. I must tell you that due to the reasons we're all familiar with, there are a lot of people who have been able to come to this conference physically, in person. However, this morning, everything is going to be broadcast over internet, and so we have our partners here in our Designscapes project. We have informed everybody about the holding of this event, and so therefore we are going to mention that we have an audience through internet. I should just like to also mention that this is an event which has been organized by the University of Valencia with the Designscapes framework. It's the European project for 2020, which is going to look into the relationships between design and public policy and looking at design as a facilitator for public policies. Our conference will entail all of this, so surely our mayor, Mr. Joan Ribó, has a lot of things to do, so I don't want to take up more of his time, but I'd like to now give him the floor so that we may listen to our keynote speech about design in the city by our mayor, Mr. Joan Ribó. Thank you very much, Director of the Forum, participants in this forum, ladies and gentlemen. In the first place, I would like to welcome those of you who are here in person to Valencia, and also to those of you who are following this via video conference. And I'd like to thank you for your involvement in the development of this event, where we will be able to talk about the role of design in public policies as a facilitating element in urban innovation. This forum is being held in a very special place for this city, and in 2022 it'll be the World Design Capital. Its candidacy was promoted thanks to the alliance of the municipal and autonomous governments with civil society, as well as sectors linked to design, architecture, communication, or tourism. Because when we speak of design, we do so from a mainstream perspective. As mayor, I must say that the main goal of this government team is to do our utmost to broaden the degree of freedom of its citizens and to improve their dignity by strengthening prosperity, safety, empathy, and solidarity, the feeling of belonging, of having an identity, and the rendering of all the services that affect our well-being, such as education, culture, leisure, or health. We want Valencia not only to be an efficient machine, where one may move about in a sustainable manner, may produce and consume appropriately, may have access to welfare services, but also, we want our city to be a space for emotions, to meet up with others, to find diverse stimuli, to have quality relationships guided by refined values such as fairness, respect, tolerance, freedom, solidarity, empathy, sensitivity, and the love of beauty, and of nature. And for these two dimensions of urban organization, efficacy, and emotions, we need the indispensable contribution from design. Design shares various attributes from quality democracies. Firstly, it is a methodology to resolve shared problems such as democracy is. Secondly, it understands and listens from the perspective of the user, becoming the definitive judge, as democracy makes sovereignty reside in the citizenry. And finally, design opens up the door to dialogue through exercises of trial and error or experimentation, such as a thoughtful space within democratic models. Design contributes to an in-depth study of democratic scope of cities making use of knowledge and technology. Besides, design enables us to be exposed to beauty, as well as to be in touch with it, to waken our expressive sensitivity, to share, to feel, and to enjoy things we should demand from a true democracy, far from the tension, the dissatisfaction, and the tribulations that so frequently torment democratic policies. Today, we already know, share, and disseminate from the Valencia government the idea that design is the essential tool to give shape to new processes of creation, social interaction, participation, and governance to make cities more efficient, resilient, attractive, and sustainable. This is why we fully support the Valencia World Design Capital for 2022. But now is the moment to go beyond in order to turn something circumstantial into something structural and strategically, that is to say, in the short term, into processes that provoke irreversible transformations into a way of managing cities. From here, the aula magna of the 500-year-old University of Valencia, I make an appeal to all cities around the world, especially European and Mediterranean cities, to take a moment to think together about different ways of adding the design compass to the toolbox in order to govern cities. The design opens up a new way of governing cities. The first step is to activate awareness about the importance of design as a facilitator of innovation. And to do so, we must have clear evidence, detailed information, applied know-how. And with all these things, we should target not only businessmen, but also municipal experts, politicians, social players, cultural organizations, and even high school students in our cities to convey and to explain that design is a tool that can give solutions to business goals and to important challenges that are proposed in cities such as sustainability, inclusion, demographic challenges, participation, prosperity, and equality. The second step would be to generate a favorable environment for the appearance of training programs to capacitate any interested person and the citizenry in general to acquire knowledge and even techniques and practice in design. This approach, from the occasional limited educational competency of the local corporations in Spain, well, it should be transferred to all levels of education, be it formal education or informal education, such as lifelong learning. Everyone, including politicians, must learn about the possibilities and techniques of design. The third step in the urban environment is to explore the institutional and organizational requirements within the political and administrative structure of city governments so as to incorporate the design perspective clearly into the public policies of cities. It is in this area we are full of doubts. Do we need an area of government with a specific denomination of the term design? Do we need a director to be the design commissioner with responsibilities in all areas of government? Is a consultative body for design better? We have no other choice than that of experimenting and sharing our experiences in order to adapt them suitably to our local requirements. Here one must pay attention to Helsinki and its chief design officer, or to the former governor of Madrid under Carmena and its creative director, or to Barcelona with its Barcelona Centre Disegni, or to the design policy laboratories with their multidisciplinary government teams that experiment by incorporating design processes in the development of public policies. We will be on the lookout for all these organizational models, perhaps to design one of our own to fulfill our missions. The fourth step consists of effectively implementing policies at the urban level which, through positive or negative incentives, encourages different players to interiorize and to use design as the main tool of their actions. And here again, one may use different tools, such as the direct provision of design spaces or subsidies, innovative purchasing, tax exemptions, design bonds, etc. We have to further design with budgets. Here there are no miracles or shortcuts. With budget support, European cities should be able to generate a database and a corpus of practices to allow, through comparison and transfer, the rapid dissemination of those tools that work out. Sometimes what is most innovative is the replication adapted to interventions that have already been tested in other cities and regions. But to confide in design also means to bet on creativity in the pursuit of solutions, which is the bet to widen the boundary of possibilities for our cities. The use of design and implementation of policies is to trust the virtuous interaction between needs and strong desires connected to the citizenry, knowledge, science, and technology, the exercise of practical and effective materialization in a context of functionality and instrumental rationality, and the use of creativity as a tool and the pursuit of beauty as objectives. This implies sitting down at the same table with the citizenry, politicians, designers, professional designers, that is, scientists, technologists, and also with innovators. In this sense, from Valencia, we want to give shape to a solid alliance of cities for design to activate urban innovation, whose main mission would be to tackle the major challenges of cities in the 21st century. We wish to send this call to the shores of the Mediterranean, making the most of the World Design Capital for 2022 in order to create a fertile global ecosystem. We are sure that the Mediterranean is not the problem for Europe, rather its solution. We hope to learn a lot from your debate these 2 days and would like for design to satisfy our senses and for it to lead to changes in our cities. We want Valencia to be a space for debate, observation, reflection, knowledge, and dissemination of the abilities of design for urban transformation. The useful city of the 21st century is the one that narrows the spaces for its cars and widens the avenues of its ambitions. We want design today to be our main urban expansions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Joan Ribó. Thank you so much for your presentation. And now we shall continue with our forum. Thank you so much.